Good morning, my dear students. Today, we are going to talk about the types of tissues inside the animal's body or inside the human body. As we said before, that the cells inside the human, like the cells inside the animals, so the tissues also inside the human body, like the tissues inside the animal's body. We have 4 types of tissues inside the animals or inside the human body, which are, number 1, the epithelial tissues, number 2, connective tissues, number 3, muscular tissues, and number 4, nervous tissue. Let's talk about the first one, which is called the epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue means the tissue that covers the whole body from outside, or that lines the internal body cavities. So the epithelial, or the word epithelial, means this type of tissue covers the outer surface of the body or lines the internal body cavities. So look at this part, the epithelial tissues. They are tissues that cover the outer surface of the body or line the internal body cavities, okay? You have to understand that we have 2 types of epithelial tissues. One of them is called simple tissue, and another one which is called compound or complex or stratified epithelial tissues. So we have, again, simple epithelial tissue and compound epithelial tissue. We can say compound or complex or stratified. You have to know that we have very important character for the epithelial tissue, whatever, simple or complex, okay? The cells of the epithelial tissues are connected firmly to each other with interstitial substance. The substance is sticky, so it means the cells connected together firmly, okay? Let's talk about the types of simple epithelial tissues and the types of compound or complex epithelial tissues. This part is, or this slide is talking about the simple epithelial tissue. The simple epithelial tissue, we have 3 types here, according to the shape of the cells. We have what's called simple squamous, simple cuboidal, and simple columnar, according to the shape of the cells. If the cells are flat shape, so we call this type of epithelial simple squamous, means the shape is flat. Simple cuboidal means the shape is cuboidal shape. Simple columnar, it means that the cells are columnar shape, okay? And simple, it consists of only 1 layer, okay? So, about the simple squamous, we said that it's composed of 1 layer of flat cells. Like what? Where? Where in the body? They are found in the endothelium of the blood capillaries. What is the meaning of the endothelium? Endothelium is the inner membrane of the blood capillaries. The inner membrane, okay? So the endothelium of the blood capillaries covered with the epithelial, simple squamous epithelial tissue, okay? Also, they are found in the wall of the alveoli of the lungs. What are the alveoli of the lungs? The alveoli are the air sacs inside the lungs. Also, they are lined internally with the simple squamous epithelial tissue, okay? Number 2, simple cuboidal. They are 1 layer of cuboidal cells, okay? Where are the cuboidal cells inside our body? They are found in the tubules of the kidneys. They are lining the tubules of the kidneys. Inside our kidneys, we have tubes or tubules. The lining of the tubules are simple cuboidal epithelial, okay? Then, number 3, simple columnar. Simple columnar are also 1 layer of columnar cells, okay? They are found, or they are lining the stomach and the intestine from inside. They are lining the wall of the stomach and the intestine from inside. So these are the 3 types of simple epithelial tissues, and I said that the simple epithelial tissues are 3 types according to the shape of the cells. The first type is flat shape, which is simple squamous. Second type is cuboidal shape, which is simple cuboidal. Third type is columnar shape, which is simple columnar, okay? These are the shapes of the simple squamous, simple cuboidal, and simple columnar. If you look at the shape of the cell, you will find that the squamous is flat shape, cuboidal, cuboid shape, and the columnar is columnar shape, okay? The second type of the epithelial tissue is the complex or the compound or stratified. This type of tissue consists of group of layers, not just 1 layer, group of layers above each other. And they are found on the outer surface of the body. They cover the outer surface of the body. Okay? So this type is found in the skin, epidermis. Skin epidermis, the outer layer of the skin. You have to know that the skin is 2 layers. The upper layer is epidermis and the lower layer is called dermis. The upper epidermis is about a stratified epithelial tissue. Okay? So because it covers the whole body surface from outside. Okay? This is the shape of the stratified epithelial. Take care that the stratified, the surface layer is a squamous shape. So we call this type of tissue stratified squamous tissue because the outer wall is squamous shape. Okay? What are the functions of the epithelial tissue? The function of epithelial tissue according to its location. So when the epithelial tissue covers the whole body from outside, so it means that it protects us from drought and microbes. If they are lining the internal body cavities, so they secrete mucus to keep the internal cavity moist or smooth. If they are found in the wall or in the lining the wall of the stomach or the intestine or the digestive canal, so it helps in digestion and absorption of food. So we have different functions for the epithelial tissues according to the location. So we have here 3 functions. Number 1, absorption and digestion of food if they are lining the stomach or the small intestine or the digestive canal as a whole. They protect the body against drought and microbes if they cover the epidermis of the skin. And also, they secrete mucus to keep the cavity moist if they line the internal body cavities inside our body. Okay? Number 2, from the tissues inside the animal or inside the human, the connective tissue. The connective tissue, it comes from its name. It's responsible for connection between different parts of the body. Okay? So, the connective tissue characterized by the cells are away from each other and there are intracellular substances between the cells. The intracellular substances here may be solid, semi-solid, or liquid. Okay? So the connective tissue differ from each other inside our body according to the type of intracellular substance between the cells. Because the connective tissue is characterized by distant cells. It means the cells are away from each other and in between they are intercellular substance or intracellular substance. Okay? And this substance differs from tissue to another, maybe solid, maybe semi-solid, or liquid. So we have 3 types of connective tissue according to the type of the intracellular substance. We have proper connective tissue, we have skeletal connective tissue, and we have vascular connective tissue. Let's talk about each one in details. What are the proper connective tissues? The proper connective tissue, here, the intracellular substance between the cells are semi-solid. It means it gathers between being fairly solid and quite elastic. So the intracellular substance is semi-solid. Like what? Like the mesentery. What is the mesentery? It is the membrane that bound the loops of the small intestine together to prevent its squealing during the passage of the food inside. So the mesentery itself is, or the membrane which is called the mesentery, the membrane that bound the loops of the small intestine together to prevent its squealing. The mesentery is proper connective tissue. It connects between the parts of the small intestine together. And also another example of the proper connective tissue, the dermis layer of the skin, the second layer of the skin. Okay, not the upper layer, because the upper layer is epidermis. It's an epithelial tissue. But the dermis layer, the second layer or the lower layer of the skin, is considered a proper connective tissue. Okay? So the function of this type of tissue, which is the proper connective tissue, is connection between different parts of the body. About the second type of the connective tissue, the skeletal connective tissue. The skeletal, because it is related with the skeleton, it is, or it consists of bones and cartilage. Bones and cartilage. Okay? What are the bones? All of us know what are the bones. This is a bone. Okay? But this is a cartilage at the tip of the nose. Okay, so we have big difference between the bone and the cartilage. About the bones, they are connective tissues Okay? The intracellular substance between the cells of the bone are solids due to the deposition of calcium. But in case of cartilage, the intracellular substance between the cells is semi-solid. So the cartilage is semi-solid. Okay? So we have two types of skeletal connective tissues, bones and cartilage. Both of them are responsible for supporting the body. So we have here the skeletal connective tissue. The intracellular substance is solid in case of bones due to the deposition of calcium, and in case of cartilage, they are semi-solids. Okay? Function supporting the body. Next type of the connective tissue is the vascular connective tissue. The vascular connective tissue is a type of connective tissue. The cells here away from each other, and the intracellular substance is liquid, like the blood and the lymph, like our blood and our lymph. Because the cells, for example, of the blood away from each other, and they are suspended inside a liquid, which is called the plasma of the blood. So the blood and the lymph are examples of vascular connective tissues. The main function of the blood and the lymph, they are responsible for transportation inside our body. Okay? So these shapes, the shapes of the proper connective tissue under the microscope, the skeletal connective tissue under the microscope, this shape is for bone, this shape is for cartilage, and we have the vascular connective tissue. This is the shape of the blood under the microscope. So if you look firmly here, you will find the RBCs or red blood cells. You will find the YBCs or white blood cells. Okay, these are the white blood cells. Okay, because they contain different shapes in nucleus. Okay. Next type of tissue here inside the human or inside the animals, the muscular tissue. What are the muscular tissues? The muscular tissue is the tissue that form the muscles. Okay, so we have here, they are made up of cells. They are called muscle cells or muscle fibers. The cells of the muscular tissue are called muscle cells or muscle fibers. Okay, and they are characterized by their ability to contract and relax to help the body to move, which is a special function for the muscular tissue, for the muscle cell. It has the ability to contract and relaxes, okay, to help the body to move. We have three types of muscles inside our body. We have what's called smooth muscle, we have skeletal muscle, and we have cardiac muscles. What are the smooth muscles? These muscles are formed or are found on the wall, for example, of the blood vessels. Because when they contract and relax, they help the blood to move inside the blood vessels. And they move without the control of your body. So we call these types of muscles involuntary muscles, because they contract and relax without the control of your body. Around the wall of the blood vessels, in the wall of the digestive canal, because as the muscles contract and relax, they help the food to move inside the digestive canal. And also in the wall of the blood vessels, when they contract and relax, they help the blood to move inside the blood vessels. And these types of muscles are involuntary. Involuntary means they move or they contract and relax without the control of our body. Another type of muscles is skeletal muscles. The skeletal muscles, they are muscles that are connected with the skeleton, like the muscles in the arms, like the muscles in the legs. These muscles are voluntary. Voluntary means they move with the control of your body, or they contract and relax under the control of your body. Okay? Another type of muscles, they are called cardiac muscles. And they are muscles in the wall of the heart, only in the body, in the wall of the heart. And also these muscles are involuntary, because they contract and relax without the control of your body. Okay? Even when you are sleeping, also the heart contracts. It means the muscles on the wall of the heart are involuntary. They move without the control of your body. Okay? So we have three types of muscles. Again, we have smooth muscles, skeletal muscles, and cardiac muscles. We call the smooth muscles, they are involuntary muscles, or muscle fibers, or muscle cells, because they move without the control of your body. They are found in the wall of the blood vessels, in the wall of the urinary bladder, and in the wall of the digestive canal. Take care that this type of muscle is unstriated. Unstriated, what is the meaning of unstriated or striated? Look at this figure. This type of muscle is striated. What is the meaning of striated? They contain thick areas and thin areas, or dark bands and light bands, dark lines and light lines, according to the presence of two types of proteins. One of them is called actin, responsible for the light bands or the areas or the light areas, and another type of protein which is called myosin, that's responsible for the dark areas. And they are alternative after each other. So if this type of muscle contains actin and myosin protein alternative to each other, so it means this muscle is striated, or it appears striated under the microscope due to the presence of the dark bands and light bands alternate with each other, due to the presence of two types of proteins, actin protein, which is a thin protein, and myosin protein, which is a thick protein. This is the shape of the skeletal muscle. And this is the shape of the cardiac muscle. Also, it's striated. Striated means it contains actin and myosin protein alternate with each other. So it gives the striation for the muscle, or it gives the lines, straight lines, dark lines after light lines, or dark areas and light areas. Okay, alternate to each other. Okay, but we have another type of muscle, which is the smooth muscles. It's unstriated. The smooth muscle is unstriated. Unstriated, it means it doesn't contain actin or myosin protein, or actin or myosin filaments. So it appears under the microscope as unstriated. So we call that the smooth muscle. They consist of unstriated involuntary muscle fibers. Okay, unstriated, it means they don't contain actin or myosin protein. Okay, involuntary because they move or they contract and relax under or without the control of your body, not under the control of your body. Number two, the skeletal muscle. I said that they consist of striated voluntary. Striated means they contain actin and myosin protein. So it appears under the microscope as a striated muscle. And also it's voluntary muscle. Voluntary, it means it moves under the control of your body, like the muscles that are formed in the arms and the legs. Third type of muscle, cardiac muscle. They consist of striated involuntary. Striated, it means this type of tissue or this type of muscle contains actin and myosin protein, alternate with each other. And also involuntary means this type of tissue or this type of muscle contract and relax not under the control of your body, without the control of your body. Okay? They contain also, which is very important in the structure of the cardiac muscle in the wall of the heart, intercalated discs. They are discs between the cells of this type of tissue. These discs makes the heart beats in rhythmic way or in coordinate way. Or it makes the heart beats as one unit. Okay? So any disorder in this intercalated discs makes an organization, or the heart will beat in unrhythmic way. Okay? So this structure is called intercalated disc. These discs are found between the cells of the cardiac tissue to let the heart beats in rhythmic or in coordinate way. Okay? Let's talk about the last type of tissues inside the human or inside the animals, the nervous tissue. The nervous tissue characterized by certain cells which are called neuron or nerve cells. They are considered the longest cells in the body because they are responsible for transmission of the nerve impulses from the brain and the spinal cord to all body parts. And also they receive the stimulus, external or internal stimuli, and they send the stimuli to the brain and the spinal cord. And then send also the response from the brain and the spinal cord to all body parts. So this type of tissue, or the nerve cells, the cells of this tissue, is considered the longest cell in the body, as its length is about 1 meter or little more inside your body, because it's responsible for transmission of the stimulus to the brain and the spinal cord, and transmission also of the response from the brain and spinal cord to all body parts. So it is considered the longest cell in the body. Okay? Also, the structure about the nervous tissue, it consists of cells which are called nerve cells or neuron. A neuron, or the nerve cell, is the building unit of the nervous system. This is the shape of the neuron or the nerve cell. It's the longest cell inside the body. It consists of cell body, and it consists of a long tail which is called the axon. Okay? Look, it's a long cell, or it's the longest cell inside the body to transmit the nerve impulses that transmitted from the organ to the brain and the spinal cord, and also it transmits from the brain and the spinal cord to all body parts. Okay? I hope that you understood the lesson. Thank you for listening, my students. Thank you.